How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to kind of run through all things Springbok, their upcoming game versus Italy later on this year, and kind of just go through a couple bits. So please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And hopefully this video does give you confidence to give me a subscription, in which case I will be extremely grateful for it. But yeah, let's break down a couple bits. Right. So in terms of injuries and so on, we do have Jean Klein still, very touch and go, especially after his surgery. They are waiting, to make sure that he is 100%. Um, I think Salmaan Moerat, he has obviously come back. I believe he is now 100% fit. Jurenzo is a big one where that we are still waiting on information to make sure that he's 100%, especially after his concussion. He is still getting lots of headaches here and there, so they just want to make sure that he is 100% before they send him back, and for him to start playing, properly. Jurenzo is the kind of player that you are going to want later on in the year, especially up against the All Blacks. He's one of the main leaders in the squad. He's one of our best players in the squad, and he's not an easy player to replace. So, yeah, he is. He's going to be a big one that South Africa are going to really rely on to make sure that he is ready for later on this year. We have the big news in relation to Kitsi, Stephen Kitsoff. So obviously he retired because of his injury. So it was back, I believe it was back in 2024. He sustained a neck injury during a scrum, which, ultimately left him, it was literally one of those, if he got hurt just a couple more millimeters to one side, he would have been dead. So he's very lucky to be alive. Surgery was successful, and he eventually ended up hanging up his boots, which I do think is the right decision. And yeah, I wish him all the best. South Africa are missing out on a big, big player, but when it comes to health, I'd much rather him being able to, talk, walk, do whatever he wants than to be in a wheelchair or even worse, dead. So yeah, I think it was the right decision for him to retire, but a very big loss for South Africa. Uh, yeah, you do have players like Sasha Feinberg that are coming back, Faf de Klerk, which is coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see who is fit, ready, and available for the tests later on this year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now we're talking about all the injuries. Let's take a look into a couple, players that are definitely for the future. We've seen players like Jurenzo Julius, who's been playing outstanding for the Sharks in the URC. He's really a player that comes with such power, pace. He makes things happen, and he's definitely a future Springbok. Obviously, he has been called up for the alignment camp that Rassie has announced. But whether he'll get playing time is a different ball game. I truly do believe that he will be getting play time this year. I do believe he will make his debut, and I can definitely see him being, a very strong center for South Africa as he gets older, especially with the likes of Damien Dialende, Jesse Creel, and so on aging, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a difficult one for Julius to make his mark, to set the tone and to kind of fight for his place, especially when you have players like Creel and Dialende who are just absolute defensive monsters, and some of the best, ball carriers in the world. So Jurenzo Julius is definitely a big name. You have Ethan Hooker as well, another player for the Sharks who has been playing his absolute socks off. Um, he's such a good ball carrier. The guy is just phenomenal. He can play in a couple of different positions. I do see him as a center, but he's just one of these players that have endless bounds of talent. And another boy coming from the Sharks, Obviously, Kane and Moody, we've all seen what work Kane and Moody can do, and it is weird to think just how young he truly is. So we still got a lot more to see from Kane and Moody, and especially with the Springbok side, we can definitely see him flourishing over the next couple of years, and especially in preparation for the next World Cup. I think we are going to start seeing a lot of these youngsters really flourish, come into their own, set themselves as first team starters, and push on for that 2027 World Cup. So essentially, players like Kane and Moody, Sasha, Jurenzo Julius, Ethan Hooker, Evan Ruiz, they all got 2 years to make sure that they are starting. And this is just some of the names that I have. Never mind players like Van der Merwe and so on. So there's a lot of talent in the Springbok side, but who is more likely to get the starts, right? So yeah, South Africa have some serious talent. I think we are going to see Rassie implement a lot of change this year, give a couple players their first international call-ups, getting a lot of players a lot of experience, especially up against the Italy game, which I will be giving my match preview, and a lineup that I think will potentially play up against that Italy side later on in this video. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But I think Rassi is going to make use of these teams that he can start. He can start testing out new things, working different plays, working different players. Making use of players in different positions, seeing where they fit. What kind of tactics you have around it. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see what Rassi does with the squad, because not only do they have such serious talent, they have experience, they have that raw ability, and you know, finding that middle ground is going to be difficult. But if there's anybody that can do it, it's Rassi Rasmus. So, yeah, I cannot wait to see exactly who's going to be getting game time. How Rassi's going to play. He's going to continue with the 7-1 split, maybe 6-2 split, using a vast majority of forwards. We've seen that there are a good amount of talent coming from the forwards in South Africa. But yeah, let's see what happens. Now, in terms of Italy, I can't see anything past a South Africa win. I think South Africa are going to opt for a bit of experience along with a lot of raw talent, and they are going to want to be controlling that forward pack, because we've all seen how how Italy are playing. They like to play the kicking game. They like to use their players like Capuozzo and so on. So really, really keeping Menoncello, Garbisi quiet is going to be a key factor. And I feel South Africa have everything that is needed to do that. South Africa can play their own game. And I cannot see Italy breaking down that South African defense. Obviously, anything can happen. We saw what happened in last year. There was only two teams though that was able to beat South Africa, and that was Argentina and Ireland, and those are by relatively close margins. So South Africa is a completely different ball game than European teams, and I feel even with the squad that I have chosen, they're going to run riot. So let's jump into my squad selection. All right. So number one, got the loose head, none other than the big man Oxenche. The guy's quite possibly the best scrummager in the world, one of the best in terms of set pieces. The guy can do it all. If it was up to me, he would have been part of the World Player of the Year nominees. But then again, it's one of these: who do you drop? Right, Peter Steptoe. Then you have Evan Etzebeth, then you have Chaz and Colby, and then Kalen Doris. And all of these players were just playing their absolute socks off. But I do feel forwards are so underrated. They are underappreciated as well. And the work that Oxenche puts in, you don't find many props that are able to do that. So number one for me, Oxenche. Number two, instead of Malcolm Marx, I'm choosing Bongi Mbanambi. He brings such leadership, he brings that calm, he brings that, controlled aggression. The guy is brilliant when it comes to set pieces as well. It was always nice having, your Ebenezer in the lineouts, but obviously we are still waiting to hear from him. But yeah, definitely Bongi is my number two. Number three, the tight head. I've chosen to go with Frans Malherbe. Again, just such a strong run of the ball, such a heavy hitter. The guy, he can do everything you could possibly want is as a tight head. So yeah, France definitely for me. Now, number four is a little bit difficult because obviously we do have a couple players. Generally, I would choose Ebenezer. Jean Klein, he's coming off of injury, so we are also waiting to hear as to whether he's going to be available. I do believe he will be available for the test, but it just comes down to how match fit and match ready he is. But personally, I am going to be choosing Salmaan Moerat. The guy, he gives you everything that you could possibly want. Yes, he is no Ebenezer, but he is still a leader of the teams, a leader of his club, and he's just, a perfect professional, the kind of guy that you want on your team that is gonna be, just doing the grunt work, working everyone, making those heavy tackles, and keeping the game flowing. So yeah, I have Salmaan Moerat at four, Archies Sneeman at five. Sneeman is just, we saw the work that he's doing at Leinster. We saw the work, that combination between Ebenezer and Sneeman, in 2024 in the Autumn Nations and so on. So um, they are brilliant. Sneeman is an absolute monster. So yeah, I put Archies Sneeman at five. Number six, there is no other player that I can choose outside of Siya Kolisi. We have to see Siya playing this year. He's gonna be captain. He's gonna be the number six. Well, at least the starting number six. You can't drop Siya Kolisi, especially for the first games of the year. I can't see anyone else getting that start other than Siya. And then we have my number seven, again, another player that is practically undroppable in terms of Pieter-Steph du Toit. The guy is phenomenal, world player of the year. What more do you want out of a player? The guy's a bruiser, he's a runner, he's a carrier, he's everything you could quite possibly want in this back row. From jackling to gaining possession to hassling people to pressuring people to finding space. Pieter-Steph du Toit is just such an animal when it comes to rugby. The guy truly is a specimen. Yeah, so number seven, I have Pieter-Steph du Toit. And now, not a lot of people actually tend to agree with me on this one, but I'm choosing Evan Ruiz. Again, his jackling ability, his serious ball carrying ability as well. The guy, he is, he's built like a fridge. He runs like a bloody cheetah. The guy's got some serious pair of legs on him, but his ball carrying ability, gaining territory, working the yards is going to be invaluable to South Africa, especially up against an Italy side that's going to be very stacked. So yeah, eight, I have Evan Ruiz. Number nine, I have Grant Williams. Again, it's here and there when it comes to that. I do feel Grant Williams' ability to keep the ball in play, to dictate tempo, working the ball out quickly, and using that combination between the 9 and the 10, you know, sometimes it just makes it look effortless the way he's able just to transition into into whatever passing he wants, whatever kicking he wants. Everything is done with precision, and I think he's going to be brilliant. At number 9, 10. Again, this is where a lot of questions come in because it comes down to, do you want experience, or maybe you want raw talent. Now I've gone for the talent, um, the talent route, where I'm choosing Sasha Feinberg Mgomzulu. The guy, he needs as much game time as possible. Yes, he is potentially he's coming off of an injury. Yes, he is going to need time. I'm pretty certain he's going to be 100% for this test. But the guy, he is along the lines of that Sam Prendergast, where they are just on another completely different level of players. So I see, especially up against this Italy squad, Sasha getting the nod at 10. Now we have a little bit of experience mixed with um, mixed with some serious talent. So my midfielders, I have number 12, Damien Dialende. We've seen Damien Dialende, his work, his defensive work, his lines, the guy is. This is something that you find a lot with South Africa. Everyone is so resilient. Everyone will fight and die for that badge, and this is something that you get a lot. This is something that you get a lot with South Africa. And you look at the work that Damien Dialende does, especially with his defensive work. His footwork is crazy. His ball carrying ability is bloody crazy. So, yeah, Damien Dialende at 12 for me. 13, I have Jesse Creel, the workhorse, the the guy is built like a bloody Greek statue, you know. Um, Absolutely phenomenal. I don't understand him. This guy, he's a anomaly in terms of rugby on how bloody good he truly is. So yeah, 13. I have Creel. Move on into the wings. I have Cheslin Colby as my number 14. Right. So I'm using Cheslin Colby on 14. Nothing else needs to be said about Cheslin Colby. If you haven't, watch highlights, watch everything that you possibly can. You'll see this guy, he can play pretty much anyway, whether you want to play him at a fullback, whether you want to play him as a center, whether you want to play him as a bloody scrum half, fly half, wherever you want. He will happily play it and you'll play it damn well. But I'm having him at 14 because I am playing Mr. Kanan Moody at 11. Kanan Moody, I feel he's just got such raw talent. He's so quick. Again, another player that is very versatile, can play in a couple different positions. So Rassi knows that he can start switching things around if needed. But yeah, I have Kana Moody as my 11. And then honestly, 15, I'm going. You see, I was originally going to look at putting Ethan Hooker, but generally he is a center. But ultimately, I am going with Afilele Fassi. Obviously, if he is fit, if he is ready to go, making sure that he doesn't get injured. But yeah, the guy, I'm playing him at my 15 because his kicking ability, his running ability, his ability to break pressure is going to be crucial up against, like I say, a very heavy Italy squad. So yeah, that's my 1 to 15. Let me know what your guys' thoughts in relation to this. I want to hear what you guys think. Who would you change? And I'm not speaking about who is going to be first team um for South Africa, who's going to be there, nailed down starters. This is just the team that I feel is going to start for Italy. Right, the opening game up against Italy. This is just my team for that. So let me know who you would change, who you put in place, and why. So, guys, as always, please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And catch you guys in the next one. Bye.